Well, we're back over here on, I reckon we'll call it the Lockjaw farm because, well, that's where Lockjaw come from, and the danged old Dodge and several others. Well, the older feller, he's given me this Lincoln Continental here. I know this is a wee bit newer than what we work on, but I want the motor out of it for another project, but it don't run right now. So we got to get it to the house and figure out what's wrong with it. First thing we got to do is air that tire up. So let us get busy. Well, he just told me he tried to air this thing up the other day and it wouldn't take no air. Well, you can push on it. You can hear air coming out around the bead. I'm gonna jack it up and get the weight off of it. It might try to air up. If not, I think there's a donut spare in the trunk. We'll put it on. All right, let's see if it'll take any air or not. No, sir. No, sirree. That's weird, because it's not really off the bead.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, I guess we'll pull it off and put the spare on. Yep.
No, I thought, well, daggum, I'll just cut through that little village there instead of going there 5 miles around.
Yeah.
I was pulling a van. I didn't think much about it. A little narrow road, and I got down in there, and the street dropped underneath the railroad. So, you know, over the top.
Yeah.
And there wasn't any place to turn around or nothing, you know. And well, maybe it won't hang. And I got down over there, and buddy, I ended up in granny gear and growling to get that thing out of there. I took that van back to the parking lot and left it. Got me another. That's in Pennsylvania.
What kind of van?
Just a box van.
Oh.
30-foot box van.
Oh.
Yeah, I got into that place. They had a 18-mile storage area from headquarters.
Yeah.
I got there. They gave me old Ragged International. Drove that a while and finally gave me a new white. Man, I'm telling you, I got on the interstate then.
Huh.
I was shaking, rattling, and rolling.
Ooh.
I love that white.
What kind of a vehicle?
Huh?
What
White
kind?
road tractor.
Oh. This is your jack. I borrowed it the other day when mine quit.
Yeah.
I'm curious if this thing's gonna try to roll, because we're sitting on a little hill when I put her in neutral. So let me get in here and put it in neutral, see what it's gonna do. Not right now anyways. All right, I may have to just be in it when I'm putting it on the trailer. Let me let the ramps down and we'll get her loaded up.
there's that.
Well, what y'all didn't just see is me frantically jump out of the car, run this way, pop the hood, and turn the winch off with the cutoff switch. Remember, we put that on there for a reason. Well, if I'd have thought, I'd have just unplugged it here, but when you're in a panic, well, you just do the first thing that comes through your brain. What happened was I let off the remote button. The winch kept on a trucking. Oh yeah, well there's the remote box. It was sitting up here, it plugs in right here. It was sitting here. I reckon it fell here or in the front. And well, here's some of the wires now. It's wrapped up in the cable. Well, she kept on trucking because it got shorted out. So yes, sir, I had to very quickly get it unplugged. I guess I could have unplugged it there too, would have been all right. Anyways, you can see where it's rammed into the winch because we're on a downhill slope. Yep, that's why I was in the car, so I could ride the brakes. Let me get it pushed forward, put it in park, and get her strapped down. We'll go to the house with it. Well, we managed to get home without any more disasters happening. I got the remote box tore apart. It's just 4 wires. Let me get them soldered back together, and hopefully this will work again because the corded controller, it ain't very long. I need to be up there driving the car. So anyways, let's see if we can get this put back together. Well, I think I got all the wires repaired. I got my little heat shrink tube on there. It's 3 times too big for the wire, but it's all I got. That's what we got to use. Anyways, let me tell you a little story. I was down here on my knees where I could see, soldering away at these wires. Well, then all of a sudden, you see that little wasper right there? Well, he decided to come flying at my face. So I freaked out because I don't like getting stung. Threw my soldering iron, took off running. Well, when I come back, the soldering iron was laying on this red wire right here. I melted the insulation, as you can see there. So I got to try to get some tape around that. Then we can put this thing back together and see if it works. I'm gonna tell you what, this car right here, it's possessed, bad luck, whatever you want to call it. I ain't sure I want to work on it because things ain't going too smoothly right now. Anyways, let me put this back together and see if it'll work. Well, I got her all fixed up, got it plugged in. I will no longer be sitting it up here. The reason I don't mount it somewhere is because it ain't waterproof, so I don't want to leave it hooked up. I unplug it and put it in the truck when I get done. But y'all watch this right here. Oh yeah. Let me get this thing unloaded. It's almost dark. You can see the sun's done set. Tomorrow we will discuss what's going on with this thing. One more thing before I unload this possessed thing. You know, we ain't been having the best luck with it so far. Well, I got in it. I looked ahead and I'm headed straight for the pool. This could turn out to be a disaster. I'm going to be in it. I'm going to have my foot on the brakes. Hopefully the brakes work and I won't come back and tell y'all that, hey, look at my pool. There's a Lincoln Continental in the middle of it. Let me get it unloaded. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Today's the next day, and as you can see, I got it unloaded. It did not end up in the pool. So that's a major win in my book. Anyways, let me tell y'all about this car real quick. It is a 1998 Lincoln Continental. It has the dual overhead cam, 32 valve, 4 valve per cylinder, 4.6 liter V8. Also known as, I believe they call it a mod motor. Yes, sir. I looked up the specs on the motor. It makes 260 horsepower, 270 foot-pounds of torque. Let me tell you, it'll fool you because this little car right here, when it ran. Yes, sir, it would scoot pretty doggone good. Now, let me tell you what is going on with it. I don't know, probably 4 years ago, he had somebody do some work on it. I want to say it was either a water pump or maybe radiator. Well, ever since they worked on it, the thing has overheated. And me and him fooled with it for, I don't know, a couple of days. And never could get it to stop overheating. He was convinced it was a head gasket. I was not, and I'll show you why here in a minute. But anyway, he just quit on it. Parked it. Well, a year or two ago, he said, let's see if we can't get this thing started, because for some reason it wouldn't start. And I think he was going to sell it. And so I went over there and helped him for a little while and never could get hit a lick on nothing, ether, nothing. It just wouldn't do nothing. So he said, fool you on it. Well, then he called me, I don't know, 6-8 months ago. He said, if you want this Lincoln, come get it. Well, here we are. The only reason I wanted it is I want that motor for a future project. That we'll talk about that sometime or another. But right now, let me show you something real quick. Remember how I told you that it wouldn't start? Well, let's get in it and see what it does now. I threw a battery in it last night because I wanted to get the codes off of it, because like I told you, it wouldn't start. Well, so I put the battery in it, I put the key in here, I turned the ignition, and this happened. It fires right up. Yes, sir. I don't know what in the world was wrong with it, you know, back then, but it would not start. Well, as you can see, runs pretty doggone good. Now let me pop the hood and let's get out here and let me show you why I think it's not a blown head gasket. Now, why the little feller wouldn't start, you know, a year or two ago when we were fooling with it, I ain't got a clue. Why I don't like electronic vehicles. They can be so aggravating. Any little bitty thing can keep them from starting or running good. I don't like them. I don't like them at all. Give me a carb and a set of points any day, I'll be happy. Now here's why I don't think it is a blown head gasket. Well, firstly, the radiator is right in this area. Do you see any radiator cap? No, sir, you sure don't. Here's the recovery tank, overflow tank, whatever you want to call it. Then you got this little fella right here. I can't remember what to call it, but I'm pretty sure that's where you got to fill it up. And it don't make any sense why you'd have the recovery tank down here, and I don't know. But this is why I'm sure that it's got air in the system and it's not a blown head gasket. That's what I'm hoping anyways. The Trans Am right there, they can be a little aggravating when, you know, trying to fill them up with water, because they got two bleed screws, one on the heater hose, one on the water pump, and yeah, they can be a little aggravating. I sort of think that's what's going on here. We got lots and lots of air in the system, and it's just a pain to get out. Well, matter of fact, last night I did just a wee bit of research on that, and I come across one fella that sort of gave a step-by-step how to do it, and it's basically what I thought. You keep adding air, you keep burping it. I mean, you keep adding water, you keep burping it, keep adding water, keep burping it. It's a pretty long, drawn-out process. Why they made it like this, I do not know. But anyway, he put this little valve on here, I guess burping the air. Well, I can tell there's no coolant in these hoses at all. So we already know it's low on water. Could be due to a head gasket, but I really think it's just due to it having air in the system. Like I said, he had somebody work on it. I don't remember what they did. His radiator, water pump, something like that. But the day he picked it up from them, he called me. He was sitting at a dollar store. He said, this thing's done blew a hose off. It was, I think, this upper hose on the radiator. And ever since then, it's give trouble. What I want to do is, well, we're going to take this off, because that's where you add the water. Try to bleed the thing, and let's just see what happens. For my short research last night, this thing right here, it can be a pain to get off. Sometimes you have to use heat. I think it's got O-rings in there. You can probably burn the O-rings up, and ain't no telling what else. So I got to get this off, or we can't do nothing. Oh, it come right off. Apparently we must have already broke that loose. Yes, sir. All right, that makes my job a lot easier. Yeah, that's pretty bad. I need to clean that up and put a new O-ring on it. Yes, sir, she is bone dry right in this area anyway. I need a funnel that'll fit right down in there tight. Let me go see what I can find. I found this fennel in there, and I think it's going to work perfectamundoli. So, what you want to do, from what I have read, leave that funnel here, fill it up, and then leave a little bit in the funnel. You can see the air bubbles working out, and when the air bubbles work out, what's in this funnel will, you know, go down in the system. Let me fill it up as much as I can right now. Then we'll fire it up. Of course, I gotta let it warm up, let the thermostat open. And this is liable to take half the day to do this, so I will just, you know, update y'all every once in a while on how it's going. Hopefully it will go well, and we get this thing filled up. I'll tell you what we can do too here in just a minute. I'll check the oil. If it's lost this much water internally, well, then the oil level should be really, really high. All right, let me pull the dipstick real quick. See where our oil level is. Tis exactly where it should be. So I don't think we've lost any water to the inside. So let me fire it up, let it warm up, and I shall return in a while. So I guess the thermostat must have opened because the bottom just fell out. I had to put probably 1.5 gallons in it, so it was just about empty. Watch this right here. I'm gonna squeeze this hose. Watch all the air bubbles come out of it. There's a ton of little bitty bubbles. This is probably going to take a while. I'll be back later. Update. Here's something that is concerning. I saw that the air filter latch was unlatched. So I got to fooling with this, and your mass airflow sensor's in here, I do believe. Well, this, where it goes into the throttle body, was loose too. I got to fooling with it. It come undone, and of course, you know, it lost the signal on the mass airflow sensor and it quit. Well, when it quit, lots and lots of old bubbles came out, then they quit. Well, then I come over here and started squeezing this hose here, the big one and the small one, and I'm not getting any air bubbles out. I did at first, but I'm not now. So that could be due to it's just not circulating anymore, or blowing head gasket and it's constantly putting air bubbles in there. Here's one thing we can do. I'm gonna let it run a little while longer, see what happens. But here's something that we're probably gonna do here in a little bit. I got a little kit that will detect combustion gases in your cooling system. We will do that test, and that'll tell us for sure if it's a head gasket or not. Let me fire it back up and fool with it a little bit more. Got it fired back up. I'm squeezing on this hose right here, and the bubbles just are constantly coming. It very well could be a head gasket. Let me get my little test kit out. Let's see what we see. Here's the test kit that you use to see if you got combustion gases in your coolant. I got that off of Amazon. Well, what you got is a test tube here. You fill it, it says 2 milliliters of this blue fluid. I think it shows this curved part being full. You got a rubber stopper. You stick that down in your radiator and let the bubbles do its thing. And if it turns yellow or green, well, MLS is in the house. If it stays blue, MLS has left the building. Let's go see what we got. Well, I come out here to do our little test, and well, this is overflowing out of here, and it's bubbling. And well, I put my hand on this hose to squeeze the air out, and it feels like the water's boiling. I do not understand this at all. It did this before. I don't know if this will calm down a little bit. We'll do our little test. Let me shut it off. As you can see, it is not running hot. So I have no clue why it's doing what it's doing. Let's shut it off, and I'm gonna do a little bit of thinking. See that right there? That is boiling water. Explain to me how it can do that. And the temperature gauge be on normal. I don't know. This is what it was doing before. I do not understand it at all. I got do a little thinking. If it was a head gasket, it's got to be going somewhere, either out the tailpipe, which it's not smoking, or down into the oil pan. The oil level is where it's supposed to be. So I do not understand. We'll figure it out though. Well, I ain't got my temp gun because I wanted to see, you know, the gauge could be wrong. The intake is showing 147. Down in here on the block, if I can get in there, 195. Well, it's all over the place, but 195 is the highest that I see. Let's come over here somewhere on the head, maybe if I get in there. It show up like 160 or 1. I don't think the thing's running hot. I don't know what's going on. It's the oddest thing I've ever seen in my life. We got water flow, so I don't think a thermostat's sticking. I don't even know where the thermostat is. I think it's down yonder. Yeah. I don't know what's going on. Let me do a little studying. Maybe we'll figure it out. Filled it back up with antifreezes, and well, I had to drain the water out of this funnel because it kept trying to push liquid up in the bubble like it's doing there now. That's gonna mess my reading up. You only want air to pass through there. It ain't turned yellow or green yet, so fingers crossed that it's not a blown head gasket. Time will tell. I'm really confused. This car, I don't understand it. Y'all saw what it did. Shut it off and water just boils and boils and boils. Temperature gauge shows normal. Temp gun shows the motor's not hot. It don't make no sense. I can accept a blown head gasket. But what I can't accept is what I just told you. The temp gauge normal and the motor's not showing hot. There was a book in the back seat of it, so I read through it, and it told you, this is how it told you to fill the cooling system. It never mentioned the coolant bypass plug, not one time, never mentioned it. It said, they call this the degas bottle or tank, whatever. Fill it up to the proper level, start it up, turn the heat wide open, let it warm up till it comes to normal operating temperature, shut it off, let it cool off, check your level. If it needs some, fill it up, turn it back on, let it warm up, then shut it off, let it cool off. Continue doing that until that degas tank is satisfied and it's at the right level. That's pretty much it. I don't know. That's what I'm going to do. I've got the bypass plug back in, filled it up there. I just even took it down the road, runs fine. The temperature gauge is right dead in the middle. Let her cool off. I'll come back out here in a little while and take the top off that tank there and see what it looks like. Well, it's cooled off enough for me to be able to take the top off this degas tank. And if you don't know what degas means, it's a fancy word of saying getting the air out of the system. That's basically what it is. Anyway, it's cooled off enough I can get that off without being boiled alive. There was not a lot of air that come out. It's possible that we have finally got the air out of the system. Probably not, but tell you what we're going to do. I'm going to see if I can get that tire to air up. If so, we'll put that on. Let's take a thing down the road, see what it does. Well, it pumped up. I guess his air hose over there wouldn't put out enough volume. But yes, sir, it pumped up. Quite dry rotted. Maybe it'll last a few miles down the road though. I'll put that in the trunk. Alright, let's hit the road, Jack. The power steering really whines. I don't know why, because it's full. The AC comes on, but continually blows hot air, so whatever. Hear it whine. Pretty loud. It's got 248,548 miles on it. Just getting broke in. Brakes still work pretty good. Windshield's very dirty. I wonder if the washer works. How do you operate? Holy crap, yeah. I'm pretty sure that just made things worse. The passenger side wipers are pretty much shot. Shifted into overdrive just then. Whole thing sure does ride smooth. Temp is not quite halfway up. like we should test it out once we get around this curve right here. She gets on up pretty good. You know what we forgot to check? Yep, farm works. I stopped in here to see Mama for a minute. That ain't but about a 3 or 4 mile drive. I know it's not a big test, but it's a pretty good test compared to, you know, what it was doing. It's still sitting on normal temperature. So yeah, we may have actually bled this thing out and fixed it. Need to fix that power steering next. We've got a service engine soon light on. Get back to the house, I might hook it up and see what that's all about. I always spun the tire just a little bit. What in the world? Something loose somewhere. Maybe the exhaust. Seemed like it had come loose. That's probably what it is. I hear it banging when I hit a bump. The whole thing runs and rides pretty good. It appears that we may have fixed it. I'm not going to officially say we have just yet. I'll let it cool off. We'll pop the hood and take the top off the overflow tank. See if we get any pressure out of it. See where the coolant level is. Hopefully it's all good. I think right now though, we're going to give the old girl a bath because she's pretty doggone dirty. There's the next day again. I tell you what, the old girl, she cleaned up pretty good. Oh yeah. This is just a preliminary cleaning because the door jambs, they're all green. Under the hood's green, under the trunk lid's green. Inside it's kind of nasty too. It needs a good cleaning, but you know, from afar, she looks pretty good. What we're gonna do right now is pop the hood, check the water level, see if it's dropped any, see if we're getting the air out. And then it's got a service engine soon light on. I need to pull the codes on that, and then the dome lights, they won't go out. I don't know what's going on with that. We'll have to look at that. Let's pop the hood first, see what we got. Let us see what we got. Is there any air gonna escape? No, sir. Sure didn't. Level is still a little too high, but I think it has dropped some from yesterday. Not a lot though. I believe we may have finally fixed this thing. I noticed the tire went flat, so I might pull that off here in a minute. Well, let's do it now. Pull it off, break it down, clean the wheel and the rim, and then we'll pull the codes on the motor. Get that thing broke down and cleaned up. Maybe it'll hold air. Let's see if we can pull that tire off. Let's look at this tire real quick, see if there's anything going on with it. Actually, yes, it's had bead sealer on it. Okay, so it has given trouble in the past. So you know what we're gonna do? We'll clean this up a little bit. We're gonna put bead sealer on it again. Oh, yeah. When I was pulling the tire off a minute ago, it looked like a little piece of bead come off with it. And I thought, well, darn, I done tore this bead too. But it was, I think it was just bead sealer because I don't see any tear spot in this bead. So let me clean her up and we'll hit it with some bead sealer. Maybe that'll fix it. All right, let us get this. This is Tyrus on us. This is Willis. Hello! 32 PSIs. Do we have any leakages? No, sir. Let me check the other side and we'll go put it on. No leaky leaks. Let's go put it on. Tire's back on, and well, that was a complete waste of time. Sidewall's leaking. See them bubbles? Yep. It's pretty dry rotted. I told y'all the other day it was dry rotted. So yeah, that tire is junk. Let's hook this code reader up, see what we got going on. I'll have to fire it up first because, you know, I unhooked the battery because the light wouldn't go off. So let me fire it up and get new codes, and I might drive down the road. Then we'll come back. We'll pull the codes on it. Well, I just took it down the road, and I ain't got no check engine light come on yet. But y'all watch this right here. I didn't realize it had this. I'm pulling the key out. Watch the seat. Yeehaw! It's got seat memory. Then let me start it up. There goes the seat again. Fired up. I'm gonna put it in gear. Watch the dad blame mirrors. Well, it ain't doing it now. They moved on me a minute ago, and then when I went to reverse, there they go. They moved from forward to reverse. They aim down a little lower, and when you go back to drive, they come back up. What in the world? This is a 98 model. It's got all that stuff on. That's pretty dead blame fancy. But I ain't got my check engine light. It ain't come back on. So I reckon what we'll do is let's figure out why these won't go out. I've got a door ajar warning right there. So that tells me we've probably got a door switch that's hanging. So let me fool with that a minute. Well, I believe the door ajar switch is going to be in this latch right here because there's nothing in the door jamb. So we're going to take the old coil of oil We're gonna lube everything up that we can find right here. All up in here. Then we're gonna take this door. We're gonna close it about 1,000 times. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 75, 76, 77, 564, 565, 998, 999, 1,000. There we go. All right, let's see if that fixed it. Well, that did not fix it. We still have a door ajar, so I'm not sure it's even this door. I just assumed it was. So let's hit the other ones with some Croil oil. We'll shut them 1,000 times each. Y'all look right here. We ain't got no dome lights on anymore. Look at this error message center. Air leveling disabled. It should go to low washer fluid here in just a second. Come on, man. There it is, low washer fluid. Now it will go back to the air ride instead of going to door ajar. There it is right there. Oh yeah, we got her fixed. It was that door right yonder. Of course, it's the last one I did. Now, if you remember yesterday, the power steering was growling pretty bad. Well, it's quieting down today some. I looked in the reservoir yesterday, and it was pretty aerated. Well, I've been doing this right here, lock to lock, and it's getting better. So let's get out and let's add a little bit of fluid to it, see if that don't help. Well, now that the car ain't running, I look down in here in the power steering reservoir. Well, she's empty. Yep, so that's probably why it's growling. Let's put some in it. We'll fire it up, see how it does. Y'all watch this right here. No noise at all. It's pretty amazing that how when you put the correct level of fluid in something, it works like it should. Yes, sir. Pretty doggone awesome. Well, here's the deal. Remember me telling y'all, he gave me this car thinking that the head gasket was blown and I was gonna have to pull the motor out and put gaskets on it. Well, pretty sure, you know, we've got it fixed. I think it was just air in the system. Thing seems to do pretty doggone good. And well, I told y'all, you know, I wanted it for the motor for a future project. Well, I think what I'm gonna do, since it didn't take nothing to fix it, I'm gonna take it back to him. I'll say, here it is. If you want it, there it is. If you still want me to have it, well, then I'll take it. But I just think that's the right thing to do, because like I said, it didn't take nothing to fix it. Sure didn't. So I believe I'm gonna drive on her right now. Let him see it, let him hear it run. And well, I'll let y'all know if it's mine. Awesome. If he wants it back, that's great too. Now this video is kind of short at this point, because like I told y'all a couple years ago, it would not start. So I was planning on having to, you know, work on it a little bit for that. And then I wasn't real sure about the head gasket. Now we know it's not a head gasket. So I think once I see if he wants it back or not, I think we'll head over in the woods. Let's pull the old Ford Fairmont out of the woods and bring it home. And eventually we'll pull the motor out and see what's wrong with that. Well, I took the old Lincoln back to him. Pulled up in the driveway, and you know, he was waiting on me. I told him I was coming. Pulled up there and I said, where you want me to park it? He said, what, you giving it back to me? I said, yeah. So that's a pretty easy fix. It's just, wouldn't be right for me to keep that car. No, sir. He said, well, that's awesome. He said, I think I'm gonna drive it. I like that car a lot, so that's good. I think I'm gonna call it early today. I've hurt my back. I picked up something the other day. I don't remember what it was. I remember telling myself, don't do that, you're gonna hurt yourself. Well, I've hurt myself. My back been hurting down my right leg today, so I think I'm gonna call it early. Tomorrow, let's see if we can get that old Ford Fairmont out of the woods. I think I'm gonna bring it here instead of Mama's, because I'd like to pull that motor out and see what's going on with it the next few weeks. So I reckon we'll do that tomorrow. See y'all then. Well, we're back over here once again with this colossal pile of garbage of a car. Hopefully we can get it out of here today. We're gonna start with jacking her up, getting the rack and pinion back under it, and then we'll go from there. Jackalacka. Let's get the jackalacka under this pile of garbage. Oh, yeah. Stick this old wheel up under the frame. I gotta get another bite. All right, let me get the other side real quick. I don't really expect this to be a whole lot of fun, trying to get this under here, but it's got to be done. All right, it goes this way, right chair? I do believe so. What I'm gonna try to do is get it loosely where it goes. And then we gotta get up in there and try to slip that on the other end of that steering shaft. How does it go? It's gotta go up in here, don't it? Well, how? It ain't gonna go. How the devil did I get that out? Well, when I figure out how to get this in there, I'll be back and I'll let you know how I did it. Let's bring it from the end here, maybe. No, that ain't gonna work well. This beats all I've ever seen. Somebody explained to me how I got this out and how I'm gonna get it back in. Now, I got that in. There we go, look here. Oh, look here, did I get it? Nope, not yet. Come on, man. All right, well, my steering shaft is not in the proper location. All right, I'm fixing to get mad. Oh yeah, look at here. Now I'm gonna go up there and get that hooked up, and I'll be back and we'll get this. Yeah, sucker. All right, got our homemade coupler in place. Now, did these go from the back or the front? I don't recall. Let's put them on this way. It'll probably be easier. Oh yeah, look up there. Swallowed old grease. That's nasty. All right, finally, let's get them tie rod ends on. Where is my Hummer? I need my Hummer. All right, let's just get this. This is on this here. Oh man, my boot has come off the tie rod end. It's shot now. All right, I'm gonna do the other side, and then we got to start getting brakes freed up. Both tie rod ends are on. Now I'm fixing to tighten up our little cup link right here. Well, I just broke it off, so that's good, but hopefully it tightened up before I broke it off, and we'll be able to steer it. That's great. Now what we got to do is get all these brakes free. I'm gonna try to take this caliper off. Well, that took care of that. I think we'll leave that here. Let me put this wheel on. Got to do the same thing over there. Then we'll hit the back ones. Well, it appears that MLS is visiting today. Yes, sir. This is the wheel that we found in the spare tire well. One would think that if you find a wheel in a spare tire well, that it would fit the car. Oh no, we would be wrong. As you can see, these ones are lining up with the holes, these ones are not. And yes, I cut that center out because I tried this, put it on the other day, and the center wasn't big enough. Well, apparently the bolt pattern ain't right either. I don't remember if I ever measured it or not, you know, just assumed it's in the spare tire well. It will fit this car. No, sir. I got to go on the hunt for a wheel now, and then we got to go back to the house and change it, so I'll be back in a little while. Well, y'all ain't gonna believe me unless I show you, but look at right here. I found us a chrome wheel. Oh yeah, it was laid up against that tree right there. It is a 14, and I don't know if this is Unilug. I sort of think it's been wallered out, but it does fit the car. If it'll get it on the trailer, that's all I'm worried about. Let me go to the house and swap these over. Well, it took about 64 years to get this tire to air up on this old rusty wheel, but I finally got it. Oh yeah. All right, I'm gonna let her down. Now what's happened here? This thing ain't rolling. There we go. All right. let me let it down. Gotta jack the back up and go to busting some drums. Well, I got the back jacked up, fixing to pull this wheel off and bust the drum. Well, look here. Oh yeah, the brakes ain't stuck. Let me jack that other side up, check it out. If it's good, well, we're ready to pull this old pile of junk out of the woods. Got the other side jacked up, and y'all look, just wait, just look at that. It ain't locked up either. This just does not happen. No, sir. Here at This and That Garage, Backyard Butchery Emporium, MLS Central of the world, that rarely happens. I'll take it though. Let me let that jack down. I forgot one more thing. I don't have keys, so we'll have to bust that lock so we can steer it. Have I ever told y'all about MLS? Well, it's a dark cloud that follows me everywhere I go. And you know, I've told y'all here a few weeks ago about how I was having trouble with the hydraulics. I thought it was the filter. Well, I changed the filter a couple weeks ago, and that seemed to fix it. It was doing just fine. Well, today I used it, and it started going up real slow again. Well, we were headed to the woods to go drag the Fairmont out. I was riding in the bucket. My handy dandy assistant was driving. I told him we scraped when we come over that little hump there. So he was going to try to raise the bucket up, and he's not used to the lever, so he hit the wrong one and it dropped, and that's where she stayed. Hydraulics don't work at all now, so that's great. Yep, he's going to get something to pick the front end up, and we're gonna put us a piece of angle iron right here to hold it up, and then we're gonna go get that Fairmont out of the woods, and then I'll have to worry about this later. There he goes with a skid steer. That's what we used to raise front end up. We put us a piece of angle iron right here. I guess we're gonna head to the woods and see if we can't pull this thing out, and then I don't know what's going on with this. I don't know if it's the pump or the valve back yonder. I don't know, but we got to work on this thing because it's falling apart. I'm going to attempt to bust this lock whilst he tries to maneuver around here with that bucket not being able to go up and down. There's a huge ditch right there. It's probably going to drag real bad. Maybe we can get in here though. I felt like that was going to cut me. I'm pretty sure it's going to cut me now. I should have left it alone. Well, my camera quit on me and my phone ran out of room. I had to delete some stuff, but we finally got it broke where I can steer it and get it out of gear. I'll tell you what, Ford, yeah, they didn't want nobody stealing their stuff. No, sir. We're going to back her up a little bit and go right through there where that 52 went. Well, it's going to be a tight fit. I got this cedar tree right here, and I should have cut these down, but I think we can probably finagle through there. Here's where it's sat. I think this is a little groundhog hole right here. I don't see anything that I need to get. So, as soon as he gets that tractor back here, this old girl, she's going home. Let me roll this window up so it don't get rained in. Well, there the old girl is. I don't know why in the world I want to bring this thing home. She's pretty rusty underneath, but there it is. Let's just get it to the house. Well, we managed to get this old thing home, and let me tell you, fellers, she's pretty rough. Oh yeah. I looked up under it after I got it on the trailer, and there's lots and lots of rust. Let me tell you, oh yeah. Some of you may be wondering, why in the world did you bring this thing home? Well, there's one specific reason. This car is from my childhood. Well, I'd say childhood, teenage years probably. And, well, I wanted to bring it home. How often can somebody come across a vehicle that they remember from their childhood and say, hey, I'm bringing this home. We may put it back on the road. It don't happen very often. That's the main reason why. Yep. So possibly next week we may see if we can't get that motor running. If we had to pull it out, do a re-ring, new bearings, I'm okay with that. Anyways, be looking for that next week maybe. Speaking of people wondering why I drag this old junk home, by the way, just that one chrome wheel on this car changes the whole look of it, makes it look a whole lot sharper. It really does. Anyway, speaking of people who wonder why I drag this old junk home, I get a few comments. Well, I've gotten several comments over the last 3 weeks or so. We've dragged some junk home, but they'll be like, well, that's trash. You need to take that straight to the scrap. Why you want that old junk? You need to wise up. And that may be true. I might need to wise up, but I do get a kick out of those comments, and I would love to understand why it bothers some people what I do with my own time, money, energy, effort. I don't know. I do get a kick out of it though. I've said this before and I'll say it again. If you like junk, you're in the right spot. If you're looking for high dollar builds, no sir, in the wrong place. If you're looking for a medium dollar build, no sir, wrong spot. Yep. I will say this though to the people that, you know, don't like junk. I do appreciate you watching. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you don't mind, hit that like, comment, subscribe. Be sure and tell your friends about it because they might like junk. And until we work on some more junk like this right here, go do something. Blur, blur.